So some of the things in the digital space that we've seen is that everything started out horizontal, right? All ad impressions were sold the same. It was all about just vast audiences, huge reach, right? And that's what drew advertisers to the market in the first place. And then we had the promise of one-to-one marketing. Now what we've seen is that there's so much inventory out there, and there's so many advertisers trying to reach that inventory that we're seeing the industry become more specialized. So similar to television, as an example, we're seeing vertical ad networks pop up. So today there's a women's ad network, there's a travel ad network, there's a gay ad network. These are all things that didn't exist 5 years ago. And I think it's very much mimicking the way television stations started creating themselves. There's like the ESPN for sports, there's a Home and Garden channel, there's the travel channel.
Right. Do you think that this fragmentation of ad networks, like what challenges will publishers now have to face because of this fragmentation, or will it be beneficial, do you think?
Well, it's beneficial for the industry because these ad networks are providing more innovation and business models to make things more efficient to bring this money online, right? So that's good for everybody. The challenge, of course, that creates is because that money is being fragmented to so many places, finding the money has become much more difficult. So the way you find the money is you've got to match the demographic information, the geographic information, the contextual information from each of your ad impressions to the ad network that's best able to monetize it. So one example might be if a website has 10% of its traffic coming from Japan, which is a new phenomenon. 5 years ago, most traffic was coming from the US. Today, up to 40% of US-based websites, traffic is now coming from international users. Right, so if 10% of your traffic is coming from Japan and you're sending that to a US network that doesn't have advertisers in Japan, then you're pretty much taking those impressions and throwing them in the trash. But if you can connect those to Japanese ad networks that have Japanese advertiser relationships, now you're making money off of 10% of your inventory that you weren't able to before. You could do the same with demographic information like male or female, and the same with contextual information, sports content versus blog content versus travel content.
Do you think a site would have to start relying on various ad networks for their one site? Like how can they target such different kinds of users? Like if people are speaking different languages, and I mean, how do they reach that whole audience?
Well, what the comments I was referring to before is all on the sell side, right? I have ad space, my users are coming from international locations. How do I sell that ad space? The way that they're going about getting those advertisers, by getting those users, is sometimes paid advertisement, but a lot of it today is just organic. Right? In today's world of social networking, everyone's connected. It seems like a lot of these international users are just naturally finding the US-based websites. I don't know that they're specifically targeting the international audiences. They're just coming, and I think today's internet world has become way more flat than it used to be.